for a couple people to come in. I'll just start it. I'm gonna wait. We'll do it 5 minutes. It says 3 minutes ago. We'll start at 5 minutes past. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start, and then people can do a little playback and all that. One of the things that I wanted to talk about from the beginning is that talking about Joe Biden forgiving 50,000 in student loan debt. That's what's being pitched, and the thing is that no, the average blue collar worker is not getting anything out of that. The blue collar worker is not getting anything. The people, most of the blue collar workers have no student loan debt. So what do we get? The people that didn't, and all the people that never took out student loan debts or paid their student loan debts back. So really, what once again, this is almost like abortion. You're not having to pay for your mistake that you made. That's what this is going to be. And why can't I just get a $50,000 check if that's the case? If these people, if the taxpayer is having to pay because the government doesn't make money, we all know this. The government takes money. So if all the people are sitting there that they're going to pay, that they're going to take this money from me and every other taxpayer, and give to people and eliminate student loan debt, then why can't I get $50,000 right off the bat to invest, start a business, do a whole bunch of other things? That doesn't make any damn sense. So these people, that's even more of a head start. It'll be mostly nothing but upper income earners or upper middle class or middle class or I'm sorry, but upper middle class that'll be getting this. That's the only people. What about the people that did not take out student loans or were responsible and paid off their student loans? What if? What if we was to get? What if we were to get the $50,000 that you're going to give these people? The second thing that I had, Democrats, honestly, the leftists, they need a crisis. They need some kind of crisis to make people accept the ideas that they put forward. The only way that people will go along with, we need to cut out all oil right now, or we need to just transition right now, even when there's nothing available. Even when there's nothing available for to replace it, we need to just go ahead and get, because we have this climate change and we have this global catastrophe coming if we don't do it. And what they're hoping to cash in on coronavirus, same thing. What they're hoping to cash in on is people being emotional and making a decision with emotion. I've said this before on the channel. When you add a little bit of emotion to any equation, any emotion at all, you cannot trust the outcome. You can't. Because you're not thinking everything through. The only thing you can possibly think is the end game. That's all you can do. So you'll say and go along with stupid things like you'll say and go along with stupid things like, let's just shut everything down. Damn if it hurts anyone. We don't give a damn. You can't you can't make a living. You just sit back and live on the government. Of course, they love that. That sounds like a great idea. When you're facing imminent danger, when you're actually about to, this is where they hype the coronavirus, to die right then and there. Yeah, of course you're willing to do it then. Absolutely. You'll do it. You'll do anything because you're thinking that, oh crap, we're about to freaking die. The same with this climate change thing. You have people that are actually sitting there saying, yes, everyone must take public transportation. If the world was on the brink of freaking absolute, we're about to, it'll be over tomorrow, people will, guess what? Will take these extreme steps, like saying, hey, I won't drive my car tomorrow. I won't drive my car tomorrow, or I won't drive it ever again. I'll drive a tricycle to work. Because we're right on the brink. Now, piggybacking on into that, Trump is a crisis for these people. He's not that he's really a crisis. It's that they've manufactured a crisis around him. This is why they're needing an they want to do witnesses for the impeachment and everything else. They need him going on. They need to carry this crisis just like coronavirus. They need to carry this crisis as long as possible. Because that's the only way their policies will make sense. People will be completely enthralled and okay with whatever they do to get rid of this problem. And then on top of everything else, impeachment, it makes people look this way while the Democrats are doing a whole lot of things this way. It makes it okay at that point to do whatever the hell they want to do, because now we have this crisis here. This is why you have Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders trying to piggyback and go straight into climate change crisis. because they couldn't get people to give a damn about it enough. So now you have this coronavirus crisis that actually people do care about. No one gave a damn about this climate change thing. Not enough people cared. But now they've got you all primed up with the crisis. So now here we go right into climate change or Trump crisis. They'll keep these crises going and just to shove whatever the hell they want to through. Trump is a crisis for them, or as a tool. People think that let's be fair here. People think that they're fighting literal Hitler. This is what they've said. This is what they're saying. These people are saying, they say I said this before. A friend of mine from Chicago, she said that he's a dictator. I said, do you know what a dictator is? If you have a dictator in your country, don't you understand? Or a dictator in waiting, don't you understand that is a crisis? And you have to do anything it takes to get that to stop it. So of course, when people think they have a literal dictator coming or in their midst in the country, they're willing to go through and agree with anything, even someone as crappy as Biden, and still say, you know what? It still makes sense, even though he, with a stroke of a pen, took out 20,000 jobs. Even though he's going to flood us with constant, cheap, illegal foreign labor, that makes sense to you. It only makes sense to you because now you have this crisis, which is Trump. That only makes sense. It only makes sense for them to actually put you out of work because of coronavirus. They have to have you in a constant state of panic. The other thing before I go to the Twitter shenanigans is I said pay attention. I put these thoughts together. Pay attention to who they constantly go after when it comes to politics. That Major League Green, whatever her name is, in Georgia, Trump, of course. Matt Gaetz, of course. Pay attention to who they constantly go after. The Republicans that they don't go after, Liz Cheney and all them, those are the ones you have to watch out for. Honestly, people sit back and they talk about this. People sit back and they say, well, we need to figure out where they are on things to know who we have to primary. The media is telling you who you have to primary. You primary the people that they have no problem with. The people that they have, that the media, that the left-wing media has no problem with, is the people that you want to primary. The people that they have a problem with are the people that you don't want to primary, because they like the whole status quo, the old beat down Republican that will sit back and get called racist and then sit back and apologize for it or be okay with it and try to take the high road with these people. These people don't respect the high road. They don't deserve it. You got to get down and dirty with them. This is what it is. So if you want to sit back and say, I know people, like I say again, if you want to know who you have to primary, you primary the people that the media has no problem with. That's who you primary. Let me go ahead and go through a couple of little Twitter retweets and tweets that old blue collar worker party #resist me put up here. My computer's 1 second. Oh, it timed out. Okay, so right off the bat, here we go. This is, if you look at me looking all sexy right there with the hoodie and looking swole and stuff. If you're not following me on Twitter, then follow us, blue collar at metal gear, metal_gear 88, blue collar worker party #resist 46. All right, so here we go. I said people need to put some money on this man's books because there's a California inmate has now beaten to death. Has beaten to death 2 child molesters who came into prison. Authorities say. I have no problem with this. I have no problem with that at all. I have no problem with that at all. The second one, or another one that I'll highlight, is put good thing the Biden administration wants to legalize and let in millions of illegal aliens to for laid off blue collar workers to compete with. That's just absolutely amazing. This is a great time to bring, when we have all these people laid off and everything, it's a great time to go ahead and start bringing in. This is how you know these people give a crap about you. And I have nothing in common with these people. These people have absolutely nothing in common with me if they're going to sit back and basically paint or challenge, bring in people to challenge other people, like blue collar people, for jobs. And then on top of everything else, raise minimum wage. What are they going to do for the fast food workers and things like that? Now they're going to get them out of a job. They already said it's going to cost 1.5 million jobs if they raise the $15 an hour minimum wage. They've already said this. Now, if they do that, raise the $15 an hour minimum wage, put people out of work, and then bring in more people for those people to compete with a job with. Absolutely amazing. Georgia legislature approved $650 million spending increase in amended state budget. Once again, like I said before, all I keep saying is, how will the Georgia worker be helped? How much of that $650 spending increase is the Georgia worker going to get? These are the things that you need to ask yourself whenever you go, Georgia people. These are the things you need to ask yourself whenever it comes time to when they come to spending money. Let's be fair here. Once again, the government does not make money; they take it. So if they're giving something, guess what? They're getting it from you. Why are you getting nothing back from it? Any 2020 candidate, any 2022 candidate, what I put here, any 2022 candidate should be asked 4 questions. You want to talk about who you're primarying or who you should vote for? What are your thoughts on mask mandates? What are your thoughts on lockdowns? What are your thoughts on illegal immigration? And what are your thoughts on socialism and communism? Those need to be the 4 questions. Hard-hitting questions right there to see where someone is. Those need to be the freaking questions. Where do you stand on mask mandates? Because let's be fair here. If anybody is putting forth a mask mandate, they have a power trip. They're on a power trip. Same with, what are your thoughts on lockdowns? If a person that is running is for lockdowns, you have a person that has a power trip, or mask mandates. What are your thoughts on illegal immigration? That speaks for itself as far as I'm concerned. And what are your thoughts on socialism and communism? Because I think one of the things that we keep getting told here is that some of these people are democratic socialists and stuff like that. No, these people are freaking communists. What you're up against is communism. It isn't socialism or democratic socialism. Hell, it could even be for democratic socialism. They're not for that. They're communists. And let's stop trying to call it something else. Here's something else right here. This is how the corporations will beat $15 an hour. Look at this. Look at this machine right here. Look at this machine make the rebar. That's how. Look at that. You have one guy there. Now, of course, the legal alien probably can get in there, but that's fine. Look at it. Boom. That's how they'll beat the $15 an hour, is they'll automate out your job. Here we go. And I said, this doesn't help the American worker. Look at that. The Washington Examiner, February 19th. Starting February 19th, thousands of migrants will be forced to wait in Mexico, that were forced to wait in Mexico under the Trump administration, will be allowed into the U.S. for processing. That accounts for 25,000 asylum seekers with open, undecided cases. How does that help the American worker? I said, this does not help the American worker at all. So how in the world, like I said before, if it does not help the American worker, then it doesn't need to be. There was another one. There was another tweet there. I'm probably gonna forget. Gonna miss it here. And I put people have been saying this for a year now. I said this is from the CDC director. This is what she says. There is increase. Let's see if we can.
In order to reopen safely. So while we are in, but I also want to be clear that there is increasing data to suggest that schools can safely reopen, and that safe reopening does not suggest that teachers need to be vaccinated in order to reopen safely. So while we are implementing the criteria of the advisory committee and of the state and local guidances to get vaccination across these eligible communities, I would also say that safe reopening of schools is not, that vaccination of teachers is not a prerequisite.
How many of us that were against this school closure in the first place, once we found out the data and once we found out everything, how many of us were saying this damn near a year ago? Now you have Joe Biden fighting with the teachers unions at this point. And the teachers unions are not about to they're not about to give up their cash cow. Hell, there's all kind of teachers that are sitting at home not doing much. So this was actually a CDC director needing to tell us what us blue collar folks knew. That our folks without the freaking little fancy letters beside our name. We've all been saying this since it damn near began. These kids could have been back at the second half of their last year. They could have been. But here we are. Here we are. I think there was one more. Here we go. So, and I'm gonna see if I can. So this is the Tokyo 2020 president, the Tokyo 2020 president Mori resigns after sexist remarks when he says that women talk too much. That women talk too much. That's what he said. So of course he gets kicked. He has to resign. And I said he told the truth, and now he has to resign. Exactly. We're gonna end on. We have to end on a high note. I mean, or a funny note. So of course this woman comes in there and says, regardless. There was actually a woman that replied, and she says, right. The media biased, and some people exaggerated what he said. I, as a woman, did not think. I guess he's saying did not discriminate against women. Oh, she really didn't put that right. He said the fact that women talk too much, but also he mentioned that women in TOCOG, whatever that is, know they need to what they need to do and are doing good work. And the woman agreed, right? So this other woman says, regardless, is it necessary to state such a thing, especially coming from someone at his level? Totally inappropriate. As a woman, if you accept this type of rhetoric, doesn't mean everyone else should accept it as well. And I said, hey, men get caught not asking for directions. We get made fun of not asking for directions, and a whole lot of other things. Getting into household projects that we're in over our head, we should have called a professional to do. Women get to say these things all the time, but when men do something like this, women get to say these things all the dang time about about men. There's all kind of things that get to said about men, but men are not sitting there crying about it. That's the point. Men don't have to cry. She said, we laugh at it. We think it is funny. We do. Women get ass hurt and cry sexism. That's what we do. That's what they do. Anyway, comment, like, share, subscribe. That's the end of it. I know there'll be playbacks and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get out and enjoy this very, very cold for New Orleans Saturday. I appreciate y'all, the few of you that are in here. I'm gonna see y'all the next time, and I'm hoping to do one tomorrow before I have to travel. So we'll see what happens there. All right.